Okay, I don't know where to start with a stack. I mean, this is all just crazy, the amount of news. I got to some of it in the first hour, but let me just start now as best I can ahead of your calls. Daily Mail, it makes me ill how many people talk about ripping clients off. Goldman Sachs executive quits over firm's toxic culture and extraordinary resignation letter. And I want to try to get this guy on. This just broke. Boy, I don't know how long he's going to be alive. And, of course, their emails have gotten out where they talk about selling people stuff that they know is absolute crud and laughing at them. I mean, it's one thing to rip somebody off. That's bad enough. They giggle and snicker and enjoy. Or when, there's an earthquake, they say, oh, that was my wallet falling. I mean, it's because I've learned people who are criminal and don't have a soul or whose soul is darkened, they just can't help but rip everybody off. I mean, who wants to be around that? It just creates a toxic society. Of course, you have the Timberwolf emails that were a division of Goldman Sachs where they're like, this is absolute bleeping. I can't wait to rip my clients off. Just like, wow. Wow, and these are the people that are funding the global carbon taxes, the takeovers, the African invasions. I mean, they're the takeover of Europe. This is who runs the global government. And there are a bunch of guys going, I'm only worth $10 billion, and the other guy's worth 40. Rip everybody off. I've got to, I mean, they're just a bunch of scum. And they think they're the elite because they don't have empathy or that basic human programming to not be an absolute piece of garbage. And they're all a bunch of surly, sharky scum. And I mean, my instinct is stomp their heads in, but I'm not going to do that. They're criminals. We're going to expose them. And more people are going to get it. You guys that are evil wonder why your kids suffer horrible fates, why you're so unhappy, and you just think more is going to, the fancy restaurants, everybody kissing your rump. I mean, I've gotten enough celebrity and not looking for it to know it's not fun. It's not fun. And, I've got a decent little house and cars that run well. Why would I want more? Well, for them, it's just all about power. just absolutely off the chart information. A Goldman Sachs executive has dealt a deeply embarrassing blow. Well, who do you think Naomi Prinz is? She worked for him as a managing director and exposed him 8 years ago. She left. I mean, because you just can't be around people going, rip everybody off. I mean, literally cackling and giggling. I've read the descriptions. Tapes have been released over the years. I mean, it's like cackling demons. They love wrecking everything. They want to wreck your life. They want to triple your gas prices and triple your water prices. They want to bankrupt you. They like seeing you homeless. They like it. They like it. They don't want a rising tide to raise all ships. They want to destroy the free market. They're blaming capitalism when they're doing the opposite of it. A Goldman Sachs executive has dealt the deeply embarrassing blow to the firm by quitting in an open letter in which he lambasts the working environment as a toxic and destructive. Boy, that says it lightly. Greg Smith, an executive director who worked with the New York-based investment bank for 12 years, claimed it is more interested in making money for itself than its clients. Well, yeah, they always bet against their clients. That's well known. That's what came out. In a scathing resignation letter published in the New York Times on Wednesday, he reveals staff have so little respect for clients, they call them Muppets and talk of ripping eyeballs out. Well, yeah. And again, these are little boys. I've been around these people. Max Kaiser's been one of them and exposed them. And, got his soul back and left it all. I mean, they call them scum. They call you filth. That face in the crowd? Guys, YouTube face in the crowd in scene where, the famous actor is sitting there, and it's the end of the show. He didn't know the audio's still on. He's going, hello, scum idiots. And the show's all about how he loves everybody and all this. That's why I hate Angelina Jolie and all these people. I mean, they know they're evil. It's all real funny to them. They know it's about a murder operation in Africa, and they're going to get awards for it and be called humanitarians. And the guys at the end of the TV show, he's like going, hello, morons, you're scum. See you next week. He doesn't know the audio's still going out. And that's what I can't stand about these people. I mean, they're so delusional that they don't care because they're making bigger bonuses while reactors everywhere are leaking. 90+%. I mean, listen, cancer isn't fun. And just because you giggle and are like a bad 10-year-old, I've been around some of these people. I've been on airline flights. I've run into them at events, presidents of these big brokerage, and they are like gibbering, giggling demons. And then they've always got like Lucifer types above them that are real cold and getting off on it and look at everybody like they're a side of pork they want to eat or something. I mean, you know, you guys are like people that don't pee in the pool. You poop in the pool. And we're all in the pool and you're in there pooping. I hate to be gross, but that's the analogy telling us how great it is. And man, it isn't great, okay? Doesn't mean I'm on some high horse and that I don't do things that toxify society. But you know what? I don't like it. I try to be a good person. Not because I'm weak, because I'm strong, scum. And I'm sick of strong people letting little cowardly pieces of trash like you control society. I want humans in the entire universe, the galaxy-wide, everywhere. I want our species to survive, you filth. I realize my life is short, scum. I want to live through the species. I want to continue on as my ancestors wanted us to continue on. You are malfunctioning cancer, and I'm sick of you. And I'm tired of good people being cowards and not rising up against you. I want to info rise against these people, and I want to hammer them down. I want to spread the word, as humans have done since our creation, to each other with the truth and defeat the enemy. I cannot be ruled by a bunch of arrested development scumbags who go to award ceremonies every night to feed their narcissistic, out-of-control paradigm. These people are a joke, but because we have blind spots to them, because we're good inherently in our hearts, we're inherently bad in our flesh, but our hearts inherently are good, we are blind to them because even though we're desperately wicked, we still know we want the good. You understand that paradox? We're desperately wicked, but we know the difference. And we choose good. It's the choice. These people have chosen to be divorced from reality. You can go read the whole article. We got it linked at Infowars.com. I'm coughing a lot today. The oak just hit. It's not really like cedar where it gives me a really bad headache. It just makes me cough a lot. So the oak are going crazy right now. Just the start of it, so I'm coughing a bit. All right, I'm going to try to shut up. See, I just went to one article and spent 10 minutes on it. I got to come back. I mean, there's like over 100 here. They're all off the charts. I got to try to hit something. Who knows what I'll hit. We're going to be right back. But, I mean, it's just ripping off old ladies, man. It's just, you know what? And they've got all the laws written so they can do it. And they own the big private prisons with the cops cramming people in it for their profit. I mean, it's got to end. These people got to go down. There's a report that got top-linked on Drudge today. Major U.S. airport to evict TSA screeners. Orlando Sanford International could prompt stampede of other opt-outs. Yeah, how do you have federal goons that are grabbing everybody? And we have a photo there of them actually grabbing people right between the crotch and squeezing. One of America's busiest airports, Orlando Sanford International, has announced it will opt out of using TSA workers to screen passengers, a move which threatens the highly unpopular federal agency's role in other airports across the nation. People are like, well, now it's going to be private. Well, at least they'll get pressure put on them. And, you know, when it's an old man they see that has all 4 of his arms and legs blown off, come flying every week, they'll know and let the guy through. You know, who are the feds to say how all this is supposed to be done? Or microwave oven machines, the rest of it. The president of the airport said Tuesday he would apply again to use private operators to screen passengers using federal standards and oversight. Why are there federal standards over it? Get the feds out, man. They're a bunch of crooks that ship guns into Mexico. And it goes on from there. So it's not perfect, but it shows that the pressure is starting to work, starting to happen. We heard suicide attack bid on U.S. Defense Secretary. It turns out a car burst into flames. Sounds like a staged event, the fact that it wasn't a big car bomb when his plane landed. Who knows, but it just sounds like stuff they do. Also, Texas Planned Parenthood CEO arrested for indecent exposure. Isn't that just special? Planned Parenthood is a eugenics organization, ladies and gentlemen. Plain and simple. And it goes on to go over exactly what's happening on that front. As I told you, this was coming. Angelina Jolie in court as ICC finds Congo warlord guilty of using child soldiers. So now they don't, it's just a perfect way to invade whoever you want And, of course, CBS News reports they've introduced resolutions in the Congress to launch a continent-wide invasion, quote, anywhere to protect civilians. So it's just a blank check. We're going to invade to protect civilians. Yeah, that's what the globalists use our military for, is to protect civilians, just like Libya and Iraq. Sure. The official UN policy is to reduce population. So is the U.S. policy under State Department Memorandum 200. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Go read it. Don't just go, oh, he says that. No, that's what it is. Our government, our military, is an engine of wickedness. Our troops are good people, on average, but the mission is about drugs and child kidnapping and weapon sales and evil. 10% roughly of world opium supply came out of Afghanistan pre-9/11. After the liberation of it, where they just arrested some of the Taliban forces that warned them about al-Qaeda. That's actually who they arrested, who knew it was all a setup. Go look it up. It's now 92 to 93% of world opium supply. A 13 to 14-fold, depending on which number you look at, increase. Just side issue. But the whole Kony 2012 thing that I told you would be used to launch a bunch of new wars, it's now imploding, but they don't care. It's now coming out that it's all a fraud, but they don't care. It's just there's a boogeyman somewhere in Africa. It's like saying al-Qaeda might attack, so we got to set up checkpoints on every highway. There might be a bad man somewhere, so you got to have your house searched. And the UN and AFRICOM are openly slaughtering people, especially the UN, all over Africa on record. And Paul Watson and Kurt have all written countless articles where it's just admitted the UN is slaughtering people. It's like, well, the UN's investigating why their peacekeepers helped the mercenaries, killed a few thousand here and there to get them off the land. We don't know why. Never mind that. Angelina Jolie loves kids. Look, here's a video of her feeding them. I mean, come on. And she calls for all these wars, too. Isn't she a nice lady when she's not doing weird rituals with blood and admitting it, and wearing blood ampules around her neck with satanic runes all over her body, and admits she's into weird death cults and making movies about the Illuminati and constantly playing the part of witches. And she's a good person who went over there to help those little black kids because she's a nice person. Of course, I can look right into her and see what she is, but I don't just go off that. I then go actually do the research. And she is an abomination. And yes, I mean it when I say arrest her. Unbelievable. See, I'm done playing games with these people. I'm done. And I know you're done. Now, when I come back, I got to move even quicker through news here. Gun shops cite Obama re-election fears as sales surge. There's also major studies showing the public believes a, quote, major catastrophe or collapse is imminent. I don't think that's the case. It's going to be just a slow unraveling, but there could be some bigger potholes on the way. And that they don't trust the government. Yes, the previous records have been doubled, and then doubled again, and then doubled again. There's just, I mean, I've gone to gun stores. They're almost out of everything. They're just snatching, ammo's gone. People are just, weapons, the government, evil. It's like, because deep down, the human survival instinct knows we're in deep trouble. Once the horse leaves the barn on World War III, open world government, once the AI gets out of the bottle, once that genie is out, once they test an antimatter weapon and things don't go right, which the Air Force admits they've had for a decade, but the details remain classified. It's always details are classified. They want everybody to know they've got it. And I look at how the elite spend all their time trying to dumb down and poison and hurt the general public instead of being in control of what they're doing. It just shows that, again, it's a paradox. They're in control to a great extent. They're trying to set up world government, but they're not even in control of themselves, and all the evil they're doing is blowing back on them because they're not in full control. They're control freaks who are actually endangering everybody and lusting after every power that's out there, so they haphazardly test and try to develop every weapon system you can imagine. So that nobody else gets it first, but then they're endangering everyone by doing that. I mean, what a disgusting, pathetic elite that wants to put poison in the food and water to give people all sorts of degenerative diseases and kill people early and wanting to dumb down people in the schools on record just so you can control everybody? I mean, that is, wrap your mind around how pathetic that is. But then I think about the general public. A good 30% of people I run into are mad when anybody else does well, hate people that are good looking, hate people that have a talent, are totally materialistic, and are just really bad news. And that's where the globalists get their minions from. And we got to realize, folks, you know, good people need to start learning to fight. I know a lot of good people are like, well, just ignore it, move along, you know, and that scum isn't worth it. No, you got to rout out the scum. You got to show them their place. Let me mention a few other headlines. I'm going to go to your phone calls. Look at the gun news. Record gun sales everywhere. And I saw a couple articles this week I never got to where they're arresting people again that draw guns in art class. They don't say, oh, I'm drawing a gun like I have at home, I'm going to come kill you. No, it's just, oh, look, I drew a picture of a superhero with a gun. I mean, what's all over TV? What did we all draw as children? I actually dug up some drawings that one of my uncles did. I've got them framed out here. It's like soldiers on a battlefield shooting at each other. It's funny. You know, it's what all little boys draw. Well, now you go to jail for that. Well, it goes one further in the thought crime. John Wilkes Booth bobbleheads pulled from Gettysburg gift shop because he had a pistol in his hand, and that's not appropriate at a national park for someone to be sold with a gun in their hand. And the Park Service is very apologetic. Not making that up. Here it is. John Wilkes Booth bobblehead pulls from Gettysburg shop. I think I've been to the Gettysburg gift shop. In fact, I have. I think my mother got me a little gold-colored bronze. She did. Pencil sharpener that's a cannon. I guess you can't have that. In fact, where is that? Saw that a few years ago out in the garage. I mean, every one of those Civil War parks I've been to, they got cannons. See, there's no lobby to protect the image of a gun. So they're banning that. And when you can ban the image, you can then ban the real thing. See how they do that? And they all are coming after the ammo, too. That's a big problem we face. Remember last year, the Energy Secretary said we are going to shut down massive numbers of coal power plants that aren't owned by the insiders to increase your prices. Well, he then also said we like higher gas prices. That's good for the environment. And they said this recession is good, lowers carbon footprint. In fact, guys, just type in recession good or depression good to lower carbon footprint. If you forget that, we can show folks watching on prisonplanet.tv, or if you're a radio listener, just go search engine it. But now he's been questioned in Congress by Senator Mike Lee about it. And he said, since I walked in the door as Secretary of Energy, I've been doing everything in our powers to do what we can to reduce gas prices. Senator Chu told the Senate hearing. They went on to say, so you no longer share the view about it's good for the earth, and it goes on. See, they just call it good for the earth. I mean, I remember the city council a few months ago said, yeah, there'll be a 20 to 80% increase depending on what type of residential or business user you are, or nonprofit user like churches. And, of course, energy is cheaper than ever been in Texas, all these power plants. And they got on the news and they said, yeah, we're going to charge you 80% more for the earth. No, it's for multinationals ripping us off. That's who it's for. But it's like the Goldman Sachs emails and memos are out where they call their customers scum, idiots, let's rip them off, the highest levels. I mean, it's like, we're going to rip them off and double and triple their water and power prices like we've done in the third world. What do we call it? Tell them it's for the earth. And they tell the trendies how the trendies go, rip me off. I mean, it's just like, because they get into it. And you can tell a trendy, hey, here they are ripping you off. And they get this glazed look, do this little, I don't want to say effeminate. It's not fair to women. But these men do like this little, I can't even do it. It's like a Nelly little thing. And they go, it's like, In fact, guys, cue it up. I told you I wanted it, then you got it, and then I didn't use it. The Kony 2012 do a screening in your area video. Now, if you're a radio listener, and then I'm going to your calls, you cannot understand the magnitude. This is not the main Kony 2012 with hundreds of millions of views or whatever, total. This is one of their promo ones before they launched it. This is all, again, government run. It's now coming out as we knew. I mean, I watched it and could tell it was government run. Now, it's adults who look like they're about 30 years old, acting like they're 5, talking to college students, because it's a new thing, not just being in a narcoleptic state or being cowardly or having a pot belly. I mean, the average trendy resembles a pedophile. It's like the style. Not only is that what's going on, chicken-necked weakness is like a god now. And being totally passive, being a huge jellyfish slacker who looks like a fried egg in a chair. That is the culture of this, okay? The worship of being destroyed. Literally, I've now discovered the secrets of it. And it's a cult everywhere. At South by Southwest, they're just hordes of these people. I mean, they look like adults in diapers or something, you know, just toddling along. I mean, spiritually, it's a, well, side issue. It's incredibly evil, though. Again, if you're a radio listener, in fact, what's the title of it? I forget. It's something like, did it have a Kony 2012 screening? Book a screening for Kony 2012. It's on YouTube. And if you're a radio listener, you'll just hear the voices. But if you're a TV viewer at prisonplanet.tv, they actually jump up and down and go, oh my gosh, so trendy, and we're gonna get Kony. And you can tell they're government operatives. They've got like evil in their eyes, you know, hardcore. I mean, their real spirit is, murder Africa, invasion force, release us. But on the surface, and just cutting this room full of, you know, the trendies all swarming around like piranhas. But again, it's that cover of the armored warmock. It has this cover of I'm friendly, I'm nice, and it's going after the young people who are in a narcoleptic state, are attracted like moths to flame to someone going, war, trendy, invade, help the children, And I mean, and I'm like, and I started watching more of their videos, and it gets worse. I mean, I'm not joking, folks. I mean, and everyone's wearing like pink and little green, non-threatening, you know, colors, all, and this is what we face. So this is for college students, and this is what men look like now, on average. In fact, now I used to bash men that are all into being big and muscular with tattoos and black on and going, rah. Now I get it. You don't want to be like these people, okay? Because I used to get mad at guys trying to act tough. No, that's good. Do that. In fact, I think I'm going to just go all out with cut-off sleeves and drive a big, fast car and be like, rah! Because, I mean, I'm starting to get it. Men are running to that because they see the armies. At South by Southwest, you go down there, it's literally men in pastels, and part of the effeminate thing is they have these little wispy beards and, like, bandanas, and they're all walking around bending their wrists going, I mean, I don't know what it is. No, there's men everywhere wearing dresses. I'm telling you, it's like they're just like, New World Order, slaughter me, please. And the New World Order's like, act like a jellyfish coward and giggle at all reality. They're like, yes, yes. Anyways. But the controller level ones are just like, know what they're doing. Pentagon's like, how do we get the jellyfish into total war? Dance around and prance. You can see Black Ops guys are just sitting back, cold-blooded. This will work well on them. Good. Increase dosages in water immediately. Send out trendies to destroy them. There's nothing, I mean, there's nothing the trendies won't buy. Oh, my gosh, help me. I mean, folks, if you couldn't see this, I mean, this was prancing. Was it as bad as I said, guys? It was worse. And there's even, and now listen, Nemo just ran in here with stacks of articles. NATO, Australia, England, France, Northcom troops are being dispatched for AFRICOM. The invasion of Africa is beginning. Has nothing to do with Kony. It's about seizing land, fighting indigenous groups that are being forced off. Because it's all in the news, the UN's just in there gunning people down. But again, they've got guys prancing around going, liberal, and Angelina Jolie going, children. And again, that's the cover. Imagine the tank ramming the Branch Davidians going, this is not an assault. Please come out. We are your friends. They come out, they shoot them. It's the same thing. I mean, imagine a military that first deploys people hopping around in pink shirts going, It's a perfect deal. Like, oh, this isn't non-threatening. That's just like one of those fish. Guys, pull up the lantern fish. You know, it's at 2,000 feet and deeper, and it has that little lamp that looks like a tasty. No, a lamprey is one that attaches and is parasitic. It's a lantern fish, and it's got big giant teeth. But in the total darkness, there's a lot of little glowing crustaceans and things that fish eat. So you think you're getting a big, juicy, non-threatening little goblet, but really, it's the lantern hanging. And that's what Kony is. And it's like, it's trendy, liberal, Angelina. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. And I'm sick of it, and I'm calling you out, scum. I cannot stand these people. Did you find the lanternfish? Watch this. I'll show you. Lanternfish. Lanternfish. You can also Google Horrors of the Deep. I found it. Here it is. Boom. Just show lanternfish. The ultimate in trendiness. Oh, look, Kony 2012. Oh, look at the little Kony 2012, little glowing. And you can't see him right there. New World Order Rockefeller eugenics operation. In the dark, all you see is, Angelina Jolie right out shining in the darkness. Looks like a little fishy sees that and says, I'll just swim over and eat that. The AFRICOM is coming. Loving, loving, loving. You can do it. Stop Kony. You know, Kony's like a little skeleton on the bottom. Hadn't been seen in forever. Little tiny nothing. But it's like, oh, we're gonna fight. Oh, and then there's a little, oh boy, I said I go to your phone calls and I'm out of control now, aren't I? Matthew in Tennessee, thank you for holding during that. Go ahead, sir. That was cleansing, though. I had to see a lot of the diaper wearers out there today, and it was hard. Go ahead. Matthew, I guess you don't want to talk from Tennessee? I don't even hear him airing the call.
My grandma wouldn't read this. I tell you what, there are some people who believe that if someone was busting your balls, it would make a difference, but it don't.
We missed what you said at first, because I think the folks airing the calls were away. Start over.
No, not a problem. Okay, so we got a couple of issues with the artificial intelligence. More likely than not, the operating system that they are using for the artificial intelligence is a modified Linux system.
But that's okay, because there's no threat from Fukushima. If I just go, everything's okay, right?
Well, okay. The first thing that we need to target in this situation are the predictive programs that help control the propaganda. Right? And
all right, stay there. I'm going to come back to you. Man, that was cleansing. Man, for like a week I've been watching these PSYOP videos. It's really getting to me. And then I saw a bunch of what they've created downtown. I mean, let me tell you, these are scary people. And I can tell you a lot of them are CPSers. Oh, man, I tell you, armies of pot-bellied coming at us hard here. I'll stay there. Oh, boy. All the condescending trendies, all they do is buy into a certain spectrum of bull and then repeat it and pose as if they have knowledge. And the propaganda is getting so bad. The Arrested Development, adults acting like children now. I mean, Austin's like the capital of slackers and all of this. And let me tell you, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. People need to grow up and get a life. But no, they're going to be the new social leaders calling for the invasion of Africa, which has now begun. 1 week after Kony, I said, that's a launch of war propaganda. Look at Bill Gates and all of them involved in it, funding it. I mean, it's not hard. It's like, that's a green tree. You know, there's a green tree out in your yard. It's not hard. All right, I said I'd go to your calls at a little bit of overdrive so I can get to everybody. Oh, man, it makes me sick. If you saw the video, everybody, the office hadn't seen it yet, and they thought I was joking about dancing around going, trendy, trendy. And they call for a war. They go, worse than Hitler, worse than Bin Laden. It's some dead guy, and now they're invading all the countries. I mean, now wars are launched, not by Hitler or Stalin up there lying, But, you know, but by men prancing around, bending their wrist, going, trendy, trendy, trendy. And everybody's like, oh, my, he bent his wrist on camera and did a little leprechaun dance. Let's have war. And you got swarming idiot trendies running around calling for war. Okay, I'm sorry. Matthew in Tennessee, we're getting into the whole AI situation with the scientist we had on earlier. Go ahead.
Well, the question is not whether or not there is artificial intelligence. The question is what degree of intelligence is artificial at this time. Now, when we're looking at this situation, we have to get down, just like you were saying earlier, to the kernel, right? Because the kernel is programmed in objects. So when you think about one of the obstacles to this situation, it is programming the philosophy of people like Plato, people like Pythagoras, into objects that the computer can then process. Right now, people get afraid of this. There's really no reason to be afraid. The truth of the matter is that if you have studied in your life and you understand what deception is, when people try to use the predictive programs for propaganda, you can identify that it is deception right away. So really what we're talking about is what do we do to free the minds of our countrymen, right, which is no small task. So what I am suggesting to you is that we need to get people like Mr. Stallman working on who wrote the predictive programs, who wrote the kernel for the larger mainframes that they are using for the artificial intelligence, because there's only so many brilliant people out there, and they get recruited from university. So if you see someone who you knew in your class who then disappeared into government work, you know who's working on it. So there's plenty of info warriors to research this sort of thing. We just need to get on top of the ball.
Well, I hear you, and it was well said, and I agree with you. And but we need to get people to actually worry about real things that threaten our society. God bless you. I appreciate your call. We've got new articles at Infowars.com. Angelina Jolie shills for globalist plan in Africa at ICC trial, prancing around telling everybody they're the good guys when you know what they are. Only remaining MSN reporter covering Ron Paul is pulled. Gun shop site re-election fears as gun sales surge, to all-time highs. Cafferty says thanks to the military-industrial complex, we're still in Afghanistan. He thanks the opium pal. Obama plays bin Laden card in re-election effort. How he killed bin Laden, if you believe that, you believe in Keebler elves and pixies. A major U.S. airport to evict TSA screeners. And we have the Rappaport interview up there as well. Also, professor wants population to be chemically castrated at free will. Government agrees. That's just some of the info up on that subject. Highway bill amendment defeated that would have sent billions to Soros, Boone Pickens, others. We've also got the report of gay spying case. Will jury convict for hate? And the guy, as a prank, had a video camera taping people having sex in the dorm. Hey, I say you should go to jail. What about the government spying without warrants? What about them? Chuck in Oklahoma, you're on the air. Thanks for holding while I had a breakdown watching Trendies. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, buddy. I was going to ask you, what do you think of Brad? I know you're friends with Brad.
I am not friends with Brad Pitt. I've said I know people that know a lot about him, and I'll just leave it at that. That's all I ever said. People turned it all off into this big thing. I'm attacking Angelina Jolie because she's a warmongering pig who is pushing for all these invasions that have now begun on the back of a phantom menace. And the UN is a murdering group, and I'm sick of them getting away with this. I'm calling them out.
And I couldn't agree more. Now, I was curious. I mean, I think Brad feels about this because he's, from what I heard, he's kind of a, one of the good guys, like I hear he watches your show and he's kind of into the, kind of the opposite, it seems like.
All right, well, I talked to Aaron Russo before he died, and he did meet with him, and he did know him, and they liked his film and said they'd watch my stuff. And then I separately, through some other people, it's like I've met a bunch of these people at parties and events, and I mean, talk to them. It's like I've met Sean Penn twice. And then the third time I met him, he didn't even know who I was, and later goes, oh, I like your show. Oh, and then once I talked to him on the phone. Charlie Sheen put him on the phone, and he knew who I was then. And then another time didn't know who I was. So I don't know, that they seem smart part of the time, and they seem really dumb the other part. But I don't care. I'm going after Angelina Jolie and exposing her. And he should be ashamed of her. And you know what? If Brad Pitt doesn't like it, he can come, tell me to my face. I'll stomp his ass into the ground. His wife is a war criminal, and I don't care. And I'm exposing her.
Yeah, I bet he wishes he was Jennifer Aniston right about now.
Well, I tell you, she is really beautiful and horrible bosses. All right, that's enough. I think Aunt Jennifer Aniston's beautiful. I think, you know, I mean, side issue. I shouldn't be talking about beating people up. People are sending me emails going, Brad Pitt will kick your butt. Well, good. Listen, you know, I'm going up against the New World Order. You think I'm worried about some woman's husband? I don't care if he sends a hit team to kill me. I don't care. I'm committed. I'm not shutting up. I'm not backing off. I'm unleashed. I'm unchained. I'm sick of it. I'm calling out a bunch of mass murderers for what they are. Chuck in Oklahoma, you're on the air. Go ahead. Ah, okay, I'm sorry. Rob in California, go ahead.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I'm calling from Oath Keepers, Orange County, California chapter. We are promoting a fundraiser for the County Sheriff's Project. It's called the California Sheriff's Posse Call and Fundraiser. Sheriff Richard Mack is going to be our guest speaker.
Very exciting. We're going to have to get him back here in studio for that. I appreciate your call, sir, but if I let people aren't doing endless plugs, it'll never end. Yeah, I'm supporting that whole sheriff's initiative. I'm supporting the general initiative because I've looked at it and support it and believe in it. You sound like a great guy. I just don't know you from Adam doing a fundraiser thing on air. Let's talk to Brock in Alabama, who'll have to be tail gunner. Sorry to Colin. Go ahead. Or Colin's up next, then Brock. Colin, go ahead. Come on ahead.
Looking at this Kony video and analyzing it up close, and then, you know, I pulled back to quantify the bigger picture, kind of like a chess match, and it came to mind that what if, you know, they're keeping Kony hidden till the right time, sort of like bin Laden?
Oh, yeah, no, I thought that. He's probably dead. Most people think he's been dead for 6 years. And then they're going to roll him out exactly and call the African invasion a victory. We invaded 9 countries, and we got some guy hadn't been seen in forever. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. They use him, you know, Obama uses him as a re-election tool, and then the campaign itself, you know, it says Kony 2012, meaning that it's supposed to end this year. So all the trendies, you know, they'll be on the bandwagon like, oh, we had a successful mission.
No, exactly. The minute I saw it, it's a total psyop, and I'm sorry I hadn't made that point. I 100% agree with you.
And then, like, just one more point. I know, like, they'll feel like they have all this fake momentum, and like, hey, we got him, let's go for the next guy. And so I went and looked, and you'll never believe it, on the ICC wanted list, the next 2 guys on their list after Kony is a guy in Sudan and then a guy in Congo.
No, exactly, sir. It's a bad guy hunt to invade all of Africa. It's been announced. Absolutely, that's it.
What's up with these sorry politicians? Lots of bark. When it's showtime, whimpering like little shih tzus. You want big cuts. Ron Paul's been screaming it for years. Budget crisis? No problem. Got $1 trillion year 1. That's trillion with a T. Department of Education? Gone. Interior, Energy, HUD, Commerce? Gone. Later, bureaucrats. That's how Ron Paul rolls. Want to drain the swamp? Ron Paul. Do it.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.